All the way back in 2016, Electronic Arts released the Rogue One VR mission, a free add-on to Star Wars Battlefront, which allowed us, for the first time ever, to pilot a faithfully recreated X-Wing in VR. But it was more than that. Hearing your comrades over the radio, being forced to navigate your way through asteroid fields, and of course taking down Empire scum one after another with your laser cannons, this was every Star Wars fan dream come true. And like any amazing dream at just 15 minutes long, it was over before you knew it. But PSVR gamers knew that, once upon a time, Robots Rescue became Astrobot, and the London heist became Blood and Truth. So, for the last 4 years, we've been hoping, praying, that EA could bring PSVR gamers the full-fledged space combat game of our dreams. Enter Star Wars Squadrons, a 5v5 online multiplayer space combat game with a full-length, single-player campaign included. If you're like me, a longtime Wing Commander fan, the campaign might be what you were looking forward to the most. So I was completely and totally in shock when I abandoned the campaign just 2 hours in to focus on multiplayer, and didn't return to it for days. I wish I hadn't jumped ship so quickly though. The campaign is actually a highly cinematic 7 to 8 hour game that has you bouncing back and forth between sides, playing missions as a recruit for both the Empire and New Republic. The first half of the campaign is a glorified tutorial and will familiarize you with every class of ship and let you experiment with loadouts to discover what suits your playstyle best. Between missions, you'll talk to your crew, customize your ship, hit up mission briefings, and around the 3 hour mark, the story really starts hitting its stride and doesn't let up until the very end. Sure, the big cutscenes are presented in non-VR, but they're still really well done. The biggest downfall, though, are probably the optional and mandatory conversations with the crew members. They talk to you in long-winded, drawn-out paragraphs of dialogue that would have been much better suited as radio chatter during the missions themselves.
Chaotic and serene, all at once. The Empire corrupts the energy of every planet it touches. But I can always feel the good buried beneath that.
But that's all besides the point, considering that the real meat of Squadrons takes place out in space, and the sensation of flight here feels incredible. I ended up using the DualShock 4 for most of the game, but once I found my flight stick and remapped some of the controls, Squadrons fell right alongside Ace Combat 7 as one of the most immersive PSVR games I've ever played. Ship interiors look like they've been ripped straight out of the movies, and even though some of the campaign set pieces can look pretty blurry at times, the overall look and feel is stunning. But if you think dogfighting is going to be as simple as just getting another ship in your sights and firing away until his guts are smeared across the nearest asteroid, you've got another thing coming. Because there are so many subsystems to learn and get used to, that it feels like you're not only the pilot and gunner of your ship, but also the engineer from Star Trek Bridge Crew. Diverting power from one system to another is integral to your survival, meaning that when you're getting fired on, you might want to send all your power to your front or back shields, depending on the situation. Or if you're confident in outmaneuvering your opponent, sending all your power to the engines to allow for a speed boost and give you a leg up on evasive maneuvers. Learning when to divert power, how to drift, and even how to communicate with your team can feel overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it all, you'll feel right at home.
Vanguard 2 checking in.
Check that tail.
There's a bit of a learning curve here, but don't let that deter you. Anyone can jump right into the standard 5v5 dogfighting mode and get a few wins, especially with a couple of experienced teammates by your side. You can squad up with your friends or random players online, then the first team to reach 30 kills wins. Then it's back to the lobby to fight a new team. But things are evolving a bit online. At launch, you could easily swoop in with a fleet of 5 TIE fighters and secure a victory. But now that the competition is getting a little more knowledgeable and a little more fierce, going into battle with a variety of ships, fighters, interceptors, bombers, and support class will ensure that you've always got the right tool for the job. And when you're ready to try something a little more advanced, that's when it's time to take everything you've learned from dogfighting and move to fleet battles. Accurately described by the developers as a game of tug of war, winning a series of dogfights allows you to attack your opponent's capital ships, but losing forces you to retreat and defend your own. I'm sad to say that my biggest disappointment with Squadrons came 2 weeks after launch, when EA publicly stated that they have no plans to bring us any additional modes or multiplayer maps. I'm still having a ton of fun with Squadrons, but without any new content on the way, I could see myself playing this for another month, maybe 2, then potentially losing interest. despite a few minor gripes, nothing can hold this title back from greatness. As it stands, Star Wars Squadrons is one of my favorite PlayStation VR games yet, delivering a highly polished, exciting campaign and an absolutely riveting multiplayer experience. And with crossplay support with PC and even non-VR gamers, there won't be a shortage of players here anytime soon. It's great seeing a AAA developer like EA take the plunge, transform the Rogue One mission into the full-fledged game we've been asking for, and do it so masterfully.